You bunch of absolutely gorgeous, sexy bastardos. Welcome to another delightful episode of Stace and Barry in the morning. I had planned to do a whole thing where I was going to try and make a theme tune for us to the tune of the Darkwing Duck theme tune.
Ooh.
But I ran out of steam after Stace and B, and that's all I got.
Yeah, but to be fair, that's all you need is Stace and B. See, because I came
trouble,
down.
you call.
Yeah.
I just can't. I've got nothing else there. I'm afraid. I'll have to think harder about it next time. I just shouldn't have mentioned it. Really, is what I should have done.
No, because now it's made the Duckwing. By the way, I'm the Barry half. Morning.
Oh yes, hello.
Morning.
I'm the Stace half.
Yeah, but what that's made me do is that's made me. I've now currently got the Darkwing Duck theme tune running through my head, which is not a bad thing to have running through my head.
It's an absolute banger.
It is.
It's a proper banger. Like, if somebody put that on at a party, I would dance to it.
Yeah.
Like, it's really good. It's got no business being that good.
No. But to be fair, a lot of I don't want to sound like that old guy back in my day, fucking kids. But, I mean, you know, you put DuckTales, you put Darkwing Duck, you throw in a bit of Tailspin. I mean, you just don't get them sort of quality tunes anymore for, like, your children's TV.
I was really disappointed the other day because the new Turtles cartoon came out a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
And the theme tune doesn't have lyrics, and it's not anything like the 87 theme tune, which most versions of the Turtles cartoon are sort of at least vaguely similar, except the 2003 one. Like, just don't look directly at those themes because they are shit. They're so bad. But I was really sad because I was like, where's the lyrics? You know, why aren't we Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtling? Yeah, I was quite disappointed by that. But then the show was rad, so I didn't mind so much.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's just, I feel like I'm going to go on a whole kind of wistful trip where I'm just going to be like listening to loads of like 80s cartoon theme tunes, because all of them, I mean, like Thundercats, so come on.
Yes. I always forget as well, and I know this is probably leaning a bit more 90s, but I forgot how fucking hard the Power Rangers theme tune goes until the other day. Me and Rich were watching a top 20 of TV theme songs or something, and that was at like number 4, and I was like, this one's not that good, and then the guitar was like, and I was like, shit, it is actually great, isn't it? Like, what, eat all of my words, have a little Stace word salad, like, ridiculous. Anyway, this isn't cartoon theme tunes with Stace and Barry.
No, it should be.
It could be.
That's going to be a new segment starting next episode. Make a note, Stace.
Yeah. I haven't got enough room on this page, but I'll make it over there. Yeah? Cartoon theme tunes. Hey, shall I bust out a trumpet?
Do it.
Jazz. I don't know if you've ever noticed that since we've started using the video when we record, I can't look directly at you while I'm doing a trumpet.
Is that because I'm a bit like the Ark of the Covenant or something, and you're going to melt if you look at me directly?
No, it's just because if I look at the screen, I can see myself going, and I look like an absolute nutter. So I just like, look away, don't look directly at yourself. It's fine. Hey, shall we do a little pick of the fortnight?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Well, I went to do a double at the cinema the other week because me and Rich went to London, and weirdly it was cheaper for us to travel there and stay an extra night on the Friday than it was to just travel on the Saturday. Stupid. So we had a Friday evening to ourselves. We were like, let's go and do a little double at the cinema. And if you'd have said to me before I did that little double at the cinema that I was going to see within a week Alien, Romulus, Longlegs, and Trap, and that Trap was going to be my favourite of those 3 films, I'd have laughed right in your silly face. I'd have been like, you don't understand me or cinema, sir. But it's another classic case of Stace being a dickhead, because as it turns out, Trap was my favourite of those 3.
So Trap.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the M. Night Shyamalan man?
It is, yes. So it's the M Night.
Killer.
Yeah, that's the one. So for the listeners who haven't seen the trailer or heard of it, essentially this movie is about somehow the police find out that a serial killer is going to go to a big arena gig, and so they decide to lay a trap for him there by just absolutely swamping it with police and trying to do a catch of him. And the whole film, well, I say the whole film, the majority of the film is him trying to not get caught by the police at this gig. Now, I remember seeing the trailer for this, and me and Rich looked at each other and just went, that can't be the film, because that's fucking stupid. Like, that's really fucking stupid. And we both decided that it was blatantly just a vehicle for M. Night Shyamalan to promote his daughter's music, because she plays the person whose concert it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we went to see the film, and we had, like, no expectations of it. And I will say this, it really is fucking stupid. Stupidest movie, just the most stupid ding-dang movie I've seen for a really hot minute. And I loved every second of it, I think. And the more I think about it, the more fun it fucking is. Because Josh Hartnett, who plays the serial killer, and that's not a spoiler because that's in the trailers, but he clearly thinks he's in a comedy, and he plays it as such, and it's perfect.
Right.
Because, like, none of it makes sense. It's got more plot holes than a Spider-Man doily. It is so silly. And what gets me as well is, if it was supposed to be a vehicle for showcasing his daughter's music, those are the shittest filmed bits of concert I've ever seen in my life. It's like a static camera sort of right at the back of the crowd that never moves. There's the concert. And like it's so shit. But it's so much fun. It doesn't make a lick of sense. Not even the tiniest lick of sense. But Rich and I came out of the cinema and we were like, was that a bit so bad it's good? And we, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It really, I couldn't possibly score it more than 3.5 because it is objectively a bad movie. Like, a lot of it is filmed quite badly. The acting is all over the fucking shop from pretty much everybody who's not Josh Hartnett. Josh Hartnett's the only one who seems to know what movie he's even in. And M. Night Shyamalan turns up in it at one point.
Of course he does. The whole thing just complete nonsense. And it is full of the police absolutely not doing their job properly, like, whatsoever. But it's so funny. It's so funny. And, like, the more me and Rich were thinking of it, because originally we both put it at, like, a solid 2.5, because we were like, we can't say it's better than that, we can't. And then the more we talked about it, we were like, yeah, but it is really funny though, isn't it? And, like, it's really like, I would happily watch it again. Yeah.
I don't know that I could say the same about, well, I definitely wouldn't watch Longlegs again, because that's a fucking snooze fest, lads. And I'm still percolating on Alien Romulus, but yeah. But Trap, I will actively recommend it to people, even though it isn't a good movie, because if you have, like, I don't know, a couple of friends over and a couple of beers and a pizza, perfect movie for that, mate. Absolutely perfect movie for that. You'll have a laugh. You'll be like, what the fuck is happening? You'll have such a good time. Stace, seal of approval to Trap.
Cool.
Yeah.
I saw the trailer for it and I thought, I quite like the look of this. Yeah. I thought because the premise was so ludicrous.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the trailer doesn't really show a great deal, but I thought it's such a ludicrous premise, and actually a really interesting idea, still ludicrous, that I'm like, I would watch it just to see how the hell they're going to try and do that.
Yeah. One of the things that I found really funny that me and Rich couldn't let go of was, like, periodically throughout the film, like, Josh Hartnett will look to the side and he'll see, like, a man getting taken aside by the police for questioning. And I said to Rich afterwards, what are they asking him? Oh, hello, are you the butcher? What's your relationship with your mom like?
Yeah. Like, no, it's not me. Straight up, go, all right, on your way.
Like, they don't know what the butcher looks like, really. They've got about 6 different descriptions. Like, they've got no idea, like, who this guy really is. So I don't know know what questions they're asking.
Maybe just grabbing people and showing them like what do they call it when you like the ink blot things?
Oh, those Rorschach tests.
Yeah. And depending on what you say, you get nicked.
Maybe. Because I was saying to Rich as well, I was like, what if? Because at first I was fully hung up on how they even knew he was going to the gig if they don't know who he actually is. So they don't know his name or what he looks like. That's why they don't just go in there and arrest him. So I was really hung up on that, but they do actually try to sort of explain that later, and it still doesn't really make any sense, but at least they tried. But, like, the thing that I found really funny was, like, what if he hadn't gone? Were they just going to... Because they were so convinced that he was going to be there that they were like, we're going to catch him today. And I was like, what if he just threw a sickie on his daughter and didn't go?
Yeah. It's still a good night for the police, isn't it?
They just arrest some random innocent man.
Or they just dance around and enjoy the concert and then go home.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if that's... the concert wasn't my cup of tea, let's put it that way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I'd wholeheartedly recommend the film. I had a really good time with it. And the more I think about it, the more I want to watch it again because it's really fucking silly. But it knows it is, I think.
Yeah.
And it's quite happy to be that. Yeah, very enjoyable.
Cool. My pick of the fortnight, I was gonna say the initials, and I suddenly realised I couldn't remember what pick of the fortnight was.
POF.
I was gonna be all slick and like my POF, and I was like, it's a comic. It wasn't going to be what I was originally going to pick. I keep meaning I want to just give a quick mention to Axel F, which I watched and I loved it. It reminded me of being a kid in the 80s watching Axel F do shit. Absolutely loved it. I like Bad Boys 4.
Do you know what? I didn't mind it either, B.
Which one?
Bad Boys 4. I recently watched, because you got all up in my business, I recently watched all of the Bad Boys movies and all the Beverly Hills Cops.
Wow.
Yeah, and I would say don't do that with Beverly Hills Cop and Axel F. Simply just by virtue of you will have stuck in your head for days if you watch all the movies within a week like I did.
And rightly so.
It is a good tune, to be fair.
Yeah, I love those films. Apart from number 3. That's not...
We did the list said a bit of that, the better.
Yeah. And Bad Boys,
they're all pretty fun.
They're fun, but Bad Boys 1, it's just class.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's like Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then the other ones you go, yeah, I like the other Indiana Jones films, but Raiders of the Lost Ark is a class on its own. That's how I feel about the first Bad Boys film compared to the others.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that is a good fortnight.
Yeah, like a fortnight. Comedy, comic. So I don't know if she listens. If she does listen, a big shout out to Nick Wilkerson, who recommended this comic to me. And so I'll read you the blurb of the comic first. So the comic's called Friday from Image Comics. So Friday Fitzhugh spent her childhood solving crimes and digging up occult secrets with her best friend Lancelot Jones, the smartest boy in the world. Now, obviously, there's more, but I literally read that sentence and then went, I don't need to really read anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who knows me would know that's all you need to tell me, and I'm going to go out and buy it.
I just grinned as soon as you said solving crimes. I was like, Barry's in.
I'm in. So solving crimes with Lancelot Jones, smartest boy in the world. But that was the past. And now she's in college starting a new life on her own, or so she thought. When Friday comes home for the holidays, she's immediately pulled back into Lance's orbit and finds that something very strange and dangerous is happening in their little New England town. This is literally the Christmas vacation from hell, and they may not survive to see the new year. Fucking loved it. So this is so it's basically it's not middle grade, it's kind of like sort of young adult-y, that's kind of sort of comic type thing. But it's written by Ed Brubaker.
Oh, wow, okay.
And the art is by Marcus Martin. I bought this from Panel Syndicate. So you can basically, it's one of those ones where you can buy it and then you name your prices into how much you want to pay for it.
Okay.
So I basically got the complete set, which has only not been out for that long, actually. So it's 9 issues. I bought it, read it in one sitting, loved it. It is so good. It's that kind of like, I hate to keep using it, but if you like things like Stranger Things, or if you're an 80s kid, you like your Goonies or Monster Squad, that's going back for some people may not know that one. Or if you're a fan of the works of Barry Nugent and you've read Trail of the Cursed Cobras, then this is right up your street. For me, it was like someone was in my head, and I don't want to compare myself to Ed Brubaker. That's not what I'm doing. but I genuinely read this comic, and I'm like, I would have written this. The literal scenes, and the thing is as well, this stuff, because I'm obviously writing a sequel to like Cobras, which is what I'm working on. And the main character, Friday, really reminds me of one of the characters in my book, which is a character called Nikki, who she kind of looks a little bit like. So it was really weird reading this, because I kept every so often there'd be a bit of dialogue, and I'm like, did I write this?
Did I accidentally sleep write this?
Yeah. Is this one of these things where like suddenly there's going to be a big twist, and I'm suddenly going to realise that I was Ed Brubaker all along?
That would actually be so weird and kind of amazing.
Yeah, not quite sure how that would work, but
No.
Or Ed Brubaker is actually Barry Nugent. I don't know.
Have we ever seen you and Ed Brubaker in a room at the same time?
Well, there you go. I mean, there's pictures of him, but it's the internet, digital, things can happen.
Yeah.
Ed, if you're listening, I'm not you.
Oh no, I dread to think that Ed Brubaker might be hearing the noises that come out of my mouth. Jesus.
He's now hanging up with his lawyer. He was on the phone to his lawyer. I'm going to sue this fucking guy. That's okay. He said he's not me. Cancel it. It's all good. We're all good. But no, cannot recommend this enough. I loved it. Fantastic, lovely art, great story, cracking dialogue. He needs to write more.
Is it a self-contained story?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can. Yeah. I think he comes back to this world, and the world building in this is brilliant. You get to the end of it, and you're kind of like, I want to know more about this person and that person. That person needs to get their spin-off. Needs to get a spin-off show. Just yeah. I could go on for days, but instead I could spend that time rereading Friday, which I probably will at some point.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Excellent. On that note, I'm going to break out some more trumpets. Jazz. Shall we do our musical musings next?
Do it.
Okay. Well, as Rich and I are, very well known for being really on the pulse of, pop culture and that, we just started watching The Bear.
Oh, okay. I thought you'd already watched The Bear.
No. So I hadn't even heard of The Bear until this year, and then everybody was jizzing all over The Bear. Don't take that out of context, please. Jesus Christ. Oh no.
I think it was the aggressive way as everyone's just all over The Bear. Are they?
No, literally, there was a period on where every social media that I was on, every post was oh, the fucking bear though, and I was like, all right, chill out the internet. I've never even heard of this before, and apparently we're on season 3. What the fuck? Well, it turns out there's only is it 8 or 10 episodes per season? It's not a long job. So me and Rich were let's give it a whirl, and both of us are now obsessed. We're blitz through the whole thing, brilliant. There was one particular episode where the music absolutely kicked me in my heart's fanny, and it was season 3, episode 1, which I don't think it's a spoiler to say is
well, be careful, because I love The Bear. I haven't jizzed over The Bear, but I love The Bear, but I haven't watched season 3 yet.
Okay. Well, the first episode, it's not a spoiler to say that it sort of zips around within Carmi's timeline, shows you a bit more of how he got to where he was and his relationship with his family and all that. So it's very contemplative. And the music in the background was really fucking brilliant the whole time. And it was the same bit of music for the whole 37-minute episode or whatever. And I turned to Rich and I said, am I dreaming this, or is this the Nine Inch Nails? And he was like, no, you're not dreaming it. It's an extended version of a track called Together, which is already a 10-minute song. But that is my choice for this episode. And the reason that I chose it is because it might be one of the most atmospheric and complementary pieces of music combined with the images we were getting that I think I've ever seen in my life. Right. And I've become obsessed with the song. And what's weird about it is it's one of those pieces of music that it almost like, it's really hard to explain. It almost changes based on your sort of mood and what you're doing at the time. So, like, the reason you don't get sick of it in the episode, because it's like 37 minutes of the same track, is because it doesn't seem to matter what sort of feelings the scenes that you're seeing are trying to portray. This song matches it, and yet it doesn't really change all the way through. Like, right. It's so baffling how they manage to like capture this sort of everything mood. And I found that, like, if I listen to it when I'm not feeling particularly great, it has a sort of melancholic kind of feel to it. If I'm listening to it when I'm a little bit bouncier, it kind of feels like hopeful. It's very sort of like reflective and introspective. It's an instrumental piece, I should probably point out, because people probably heard me say Nine Inch Nails and thought, hey. Just playing like the hand that feeds for 37 minutes in the background. But it is like, it genuinely, I've never seen anything where what I was seeing and what I was hearing was so utterly perfectly matched. I can't envision any other bit of music working so well, especially, like I say, for like 37 straight minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, the 10-minute version is the only one that's available on Spotify, I think. So that'll go on the Musical Musings playlist. But it is truly just like, I don't know, there's like a weight to the music that makes it feel emotional, and it just sort of fits with whatever's happening with you at the time. I don't know, it's really good. I feel like I'm making it a bit too much now, and people will put it on and be like, yes, all right.
Yeah.
Bit of music out. And I'll feel like a tit. But yeah, I mean, I've become obsessed with it. Like the other day I looked at my Last FM stats, and it was like, in the last 7 days, you've listened to this one song by Nine Inch Nails like 58 times. And it's a 10-minute fucking song. That's a lot of Nine Inch Nails.
That is a lot now.
But yeah, wholehearted recommend for that track. I think it's wonderful.
Cool.
Also, watch The Bear.
Yeah, practically show. My pick's probably not quite as deep as that, but we'll see how we go. So I randomly, she was away. She'd gone off to Greece for a week, and I was left to my own devices, and which is never a good thing. But I suddenly decided randomly, I don't know why, honestly, I don't really know why, to rewatch one of the Mission Impossible films. But I didn't do, most geeks, every so often they go, I'm going to rewatch, pick the series of your choice, and then they start and they rewatch them, and then normally we will go online and go, this is what I now think of these films, because it's a geek thing to do. So you would think I would have started with the first Mission Impossible film and make my way through the Mission Impossible series. No, I started by watching, I think I watched Rogue Nation.
Right.
Then I went back and watched Ghost Protocol.
Yeah.
And then I went forward and watched Fallout.
Of course you did.
I don't know why.
Makes perfect sense.
I don't know why. So before I get into my pick, one of the things I realised is because I couldn't remember, which meant I got to really enjoy them. I genuinely didn't really remember anything about Rogue Nation or Ghost Protocol. I remembered most of Fallout because it hadn't been that long ago since that had come out, and then my plan will be to watch Dead Reckoning at some point, which I have already seen. So it was great to rewatch Ghost Protocol because I'm like, I can't remember what's going on and who does what and whatever. But my take was, I'd honestly forgotten how good the Mission Impossible films are, like how good they are, how well made they are, how a lot of the stuff is practical. I know there's the whole thing with Tom Cruise as his own stunts and all that, but just in general, a lot of it is practical. Practical car chases and things getting flipped, and there's a real to use your phrase earlier, there's real weight to those films as opposed to a lot of films which is just a lot of CG. And I'm sure someone will then go, oh yeah, but that scene is CG. I'm like, okay, but a lot of it is practical stunts and stuff. Stories are cracking, dialogues, they're just cracking. I'd go as far as, I mean, you know, I like my Bond, but a lot of the recent Bonds are a little bit crack on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas the minute I started watching like Rogue Nation, it was like boom, 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 boom. It just did not stop. And the music in all of those films are cracking. Now I was a big fan of the original show, and I'd actually started to recently rewatch the original show, and it's very different in that it's a lot more slower paced and stuff. But again, I was surprised in these later films, not the earlier ones, when it was literally all about Tom, that it's a bit more of a team film than I remembered. Mm-hmm. I do think I think it's Ghost Protocols. I think Simon Pegg's a little bit. All right, mate, just dial it back a bit. But he seems to calm down a little bit in the later ones. So the comedy works better because it's not every bit of dialogue is Simon Pegg trying to drop a one-liner. It's a little bit more spaced out. Anyway, that's a long-winded way round to say that my musical musing is called. It says checking these notes. Is called The Exchange, which is from Fallout.
Okay.
Which is the music's by Lorne Banff or Balfe.
Yeah.
Balfe. And one of the reasons I picked it is because it's almost a little bit like what you said, actually. It almost uses, for the entire length of the track, it almost just uses the main Mission Impossible theme. But the way that it does it and the way that it builds up, especially with the sequence that's going on, it's just flawless. And then when it really, really gets going, like the horns kick in and it's just like you got horns, helicopters and shit. And it's not even like it's setting up a big action set piece. So you know there's a big set piece coming, but it's just getting to that. And it's just a setup of it. And it's just such a wonderful piece of music. Yeah. So that is my pick. I mean, I could have picked so many other ones. In fact, I had a list of all the other ones I was going to pick.
I feel like you've picked one Mission Impossible one before, so... I
have. I went and checked.
I need to update the spreadsheet, don't I, for the past few episodes? Oh.
Yeah. No, I haven't picked that one.
Dropping the podcast ball there.
I feel like I feel like we could go through like 6 months doing Stace in the morning, and every musical musing could be a pick from Mission Impossible film, and I want to pick the same one twice. They are that good.
I mean, this is totally off the topic of like Mission Impossible, but I've recently been really getting into, and I don't even watch the show, Bear McCreary's Rings of Power soundtracks.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Save some talent for everybody else, you arsehole. like what are you doing there? Simmer down.
I haven't even listened to season 2 yet.
Oh mate.
Is it?
Oh, I think it's better than the first season, to be honest. And that was good. At the park, yeah, man.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, the show, different conversation.
Well, I'm not the world's biggest Lord of the Rings kind of gal anyway. So yeah, I was never going to watch it, to be honest. But
yeah,
woof.
It's yeah. I mean, part of the reason that I am watching it, I mean, there's many reasons why, but part of the reason I'm watching it is because I knew Bear McCreary was still on board. So I'm like, do you know what? And seeing it, some of those pieces of music, seeing how they've used it in the show sometimes, especially in the first season, is sometimes worth it. There's one that I can't remember that piece. We both picked it, and I can't remember what it's called. I can't remember, but in the show, it's basically all going off the barrel and going out to sea and stuff, and it's amazing with that piece of music. But you almost want to just go and watch the edited highlights just so you can hear relevant bits if you don't want to watch the show.
Maybe that's what I'll do. Yeah. Do we have time for a little other segment? Do you think
we can do a quick
squeeze one in?
Yeah.
Do Trailer talk. Cool, blimey. So we tried to record this episode last week, and then your laptop just went and fell over and died. So we didn't. And I think that was fortuitous, actually, because about 20 minutes after that happened, the Sonic 3 trailer dropped. And I was like, wow! Just lost my entire tiny mind. So before I start rambling about it, what do you think about the Sonic 3 trailer, B?
So first off, I still haven't seen Sonic 2. Yeah, I know. Do one. I quite enjoyed the first Sonic the Hedgehog film, and I always liked Tails, so I do want to watch the second one. I will watch the second one at some point. Yeah. However, that timeline got sped up when I watched the third one, when I watched that trailer, because I was thinking, what? This is supposed to be all fun, and when did shit get real? Keanu Reeves? What?
Yeah. It's I don't know what to even say. Like, I popped the trailer on just after we decided to call it a day on trying to record. So cheer myself up while I'm on the toilet, and then totally lost my mind because I mean, I actually think Sonic 2 is a little bit better than Sonic 1 anyway, but I don't know if that's because I fucking love Tails. Absolutely love Tails. More Tails in everything, please. But also, like, Idris Elba was genuinely shockingly good at being Knuckles. I, really loved what they did with that character. It really made me laugh. But I was not concerned, but like, I wasn't sure I was going to be so much about Sonic 3 because my Sonic history was playing Sonic and Tails and then Sonic and Knuckles. So that's like roughly where I stopped sort of playing Sonic games. So I don't have a lot of experience of Shadow. And then this trailer came on and Shadow looks absolutely fucking rad. I was just like, what are we even doing here? And now I'm about to say something that will probably get me throttled on the internet, but I don't really rate Keanu Reeves. I think he seems like a nice dude. Touch wood that I haven't just jinxed him for us all to find out he did something awful or said something horrible. But he seems like a nice enough dude, but I find him to be largely quite wooden.
I think when you give him, which is why The Matrix worked so well. The original trilogy, because I watched one of the things I did do while Sue was away is I watched The Matrix, whatever you call it, Resurrections or whatever it is.
Oof.
that was not good. I'm sorry.
That was a hard watch.
that was not good. But I think when you put him in the right role for his acting ability, I guess, it works. John Wick, the later ones I'm less keen on. I could do a whole thesis on that, which I would, not thesis as in shit, but thesis as in like a product you put anyway.
Yes.
It works.
Mm-hmm.
When I say a bit, don't really say a lot, all good, but can handle the action, works a treat. Same in The Matrix, works a treat. Give him more than that, depends.
Yeah.
Depends. I was a bit like you when they were like, Keanu Reeves is going to be in it. I was like, okay, right. But again, it works.
Yeah, he doesn't say an awful lot in the trailer, but boy, does it say an awful lot in the trailer. Like, they let Shadow speak for himself, really, and everything about him is totally rad. I like the fact, though, that they still seem to be keeping it slightly on the lighter side, because it was a lot darker than the other trailers, but I did appreciate that they kept in that really good joke where they first see Shadow, and Knuckles says, he looks way more impressive than the last hedgehog I fought. And Sonic's like, I'm right here. That's really funny. And then Shadow just absolutely destroys the three of them. I was like, yeah, I'm so excited. It's not out till December, and that's far too far away if you ask me. Because I want to watch it now, please. The only thing, I have one niggle, and I don't know whether people are going to get pissy with me for saying it, but I didn't like... So this is a bit of a spoiler, but it is in the trailer, so, they sort of reveal that they decide to go to Robotnik and be like, look, team up with us for a bit because Shadow's a handful and a half, lads. And Robotnik's like let himself go and he's really fat and whatever. And people will remember that when the trailer for Sonic dropped, I was annoyed that Robotnik wasn't fat because he's always been fat in the games. He's a big round man.
Yeah.
He's a big round silly man.
Yeah.
And I was annoyed because I was like, make him fat, hire a fat actor. What are we doing? But then Jim Carrey was so good at the role that I was like, okay, I'll let you off a little bit. And I'm hoping that the trailer has given me the wrong impression. But it looks like they're equating being fat with being like lazy and slobby and letting yourself go and not caring anymore. And that really pisses me off because fat people don't get to be like powerful, smart characters in films very often. And if he'd have been fat from the start, then it wouldn't have mattered that he looks a bit slobby and dishevelled now because he was also fat when he was smart and powerful and, you know, just building robots and being cool, evil cool. So I'm a bit worried about that. I'm a bit worried about the fact that it seems to be equating fatness with, you know, being disgusting. But I'm hoping that maybe that's not the case.
I would love to like agree with you, but I have to say I watched it and I was like, oh, so they've basically gone down the 4 route then, have they?
Yeah.
I mean, at least they kept for fat for most of the Avengers.
Yeah, I suppose.
But no, actually, no, I'd scratch that. Fuck that. No, it basically how I took it was he was being fat and lazy. That was how I.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which in itself is lazy.
Well, yeah, it's a problematic way to depict fat people, and it's not going to help the conversation around fat people in Hollywood, is it really? But
yeah.
I mean, should I expect that of a Sonic movie? I don't know. But I think it's because the character has always been fat.
Yes.
That it was just like if you'd have been fat from the start, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. It's just the equating fatness with slovenliness that I'm just like, do we have to do that though?
Yeah.
Do we? But other than that, yeah, the rest of the whole trailer just made me absolutely plots. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
But in between that time, I will have watched Sonic 2.
I hope you enjoy it. I thought it was better than the first one because I feel like it really got into its stride. And like I say, Tails is always good. It's still got some of those like silly bits that are definitely for the kids, you know, like in the first one when Sonic flosses and stuff. And as an old person, I'm just like, all right. But you know, he's a small child technically, so we've got to let him off with being, you know, childish.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sonic 3. Excited. Ooh, I think that was an episode, you know. I think
you can stick a fork in us. I think we're done.
Blimey. Can I be really cheeky and just do a tiny little bit of news / promotion?
Well, it seems that 50% of this podcast is yours.
That's true. It is, isn't it? Hello, everyone. I do another podcast called Never Seen with the delightful Jenny Newman and Lee Grice, and we watch movies that at least one of us has never seen before that we probably should have by now because we're all old. And I should stop saying I'm old. I'm not even 39 yet. Shut up, Stace.
Yeah, I was going to say, old. Hello.
But yeah, we're going to be doing a live episode, holy crap, as part of the Birmingham Anime Film Festival. So on the Friday the 20th of September, 8:10, we'll be watching an anime movie called Red Line that I've never heard of before, and I refuse to look up before we go watch it. I don't even know what it's about, lads. And then the three of us are going to do a little live podcast after we've watched it to talk about how we felt about the film. And you can get tickets from mockingbirdscinema.com. And I would really love it if people came because it's the day after my birthday and I don't want to talk to an empty room the day after my birthday. That feels sad. So please get a ticket if you're in or around Birmingham and you like anime movies and you like hearing me say words. I don't know how much the tickets are because I didn't look that up beforehand because I'm an idiot. But, you know, have a look on the website. That'll tell you.
I'm sure it'll be reasonably priced.
I am certain it will be. Oh, and you can get 10% off actually if you use the code NEVERSEEN10.
Oh, well
Yeah,
remembered.
blimey. Cora, I'm so excited. I've never done a live podcast properly before. Well, I mean, I technically did one for the Southampton Superpod, but that was really scary and I don't like to think about it. So, on that note, let's shut the F up, lads. If you want to get in touch with us, you can do us an email at staceandbarry@gmail.com, or you can follow us on most of the socials at Stacey's Parlour and at Geek Syndicate. And I'm trying to lean away from X because I don't like it and it's full of Nazis. So follow me on Threads because that's where I'm going to probably be more waffly, I guess.
Yes, just as soon as I figure out Threads more, I'm on Threads. Geek Syndicate's on Threads. I've posted a few things.
It keeps confusing me because I keep forgetting that every time you open it, it resets to the here's what we think you might like feed instead of the here's the people you're actually following. So I'll just see some rando say some shit and I'm like, what are you doing in my feed? Oh.
Yeah.
But it's a nice way to discover new people when you scroll through that accidentally for like 10 minutes and then realise you've never met a single one of these people. But yeah, do that. And I guess that's the end of the episode. We still haven't got better at outros. So I'm just going to tail off until Barry puts the music in. So thank you everybody for listening to us. We love you. And stay hydrated. And come see Never Seen Live. And happy birthday to me. Soon.
And bye from me, the other person who actually does this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The one who edits it, poor Barry.
Yeah, the one who edits this podcast.
I'm so sorry.
Bye all.
Bye everyone.